Flight attendant, cut a black boy's tongue with a soda can tab. Didn't know his father was an air marshal in disguise. The hum of the jet engines filled the cabin with a steady drone as the plane cruised through clear skies. Passengers chatted softly, some immersed in books, others scrolling through their phones. But in the middle of seat 14B, 12-year-old Marcus Johnson sat quietly, gripping the edge of his tray table. His heart pounded, not from fear of flying, but from the heavy weight of stares cast his way by a few passengers near the aisle. The flight attendant, a woman named Karen, was making her rounds with the beverage cart. She was known among crew members for her sharp tongue and icy attitude, especially toward black passengers. Today, Marcus was caught in the crossfire. "Can I get you something to drink, young man?" Karen asked, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Marcus nodded shyly. "Just soda, please." Karen scoffed under her breath but flipped open a soda can. As she handed it to him, her finger caught on the sharp aluminum tab. The tab snapped forward like a trap, and before Marcus could react, it scraped across his tongue, cutting painfully. He gasped, blood mixing with the fizzy drink. "Careful!" Marcus choked, bringing his hand up to his mouth, feeling the warm trickle of blood. Karen laughed, a cold, harsh sound. "Watch it, kid. Don't act like you own the place." Nearby passengers shifted uncomfortably, some whispering, others shooting looks at Karen. Marcus's mother clenched her fists, lips pressed tight, but said nothing. But what no one knew was that seated just a few rows behind, watching everything unfold with a clenched jaw and eyes cold as steel, was David Johnson, Marcus's father. Officially listed as a businessman on this flight, David was in fact an undercover federal air marshal, assigned to the flight for security. His cover was perfect. No one suspected the hardened man watching from behind his dark glasses. His hands tightened into fists at the blatant disrespect shown to his son. After the incident, Karen moved on, smirking, leaving Marcus trembling in pain and humiliation. David leaned forward, his voice low but filled with authority. "Ma'am, a word." Karen turned, surprised to see the man step from his seat, revealing the federal badge clipped discreetly to his belt. "I am Air Marshal Johnson," he said crisply, "and I won't tolerate this kind of behavior on my watch." Karen's face paled, her bravado slipping for the first time. "This is a federal offense," he continued. "Assaulting a minor, especially a passenger, is unacceptable." The cabin fell silent. Passengers turned to watch the confrontation unfold. Karen tried to recover. It was an accident. The kid's reaction was an overdramatization. David shook his head slowly. "You will come with me when we land. We will file a report. This is just the beginning." As the plane landed, word spread quickly. Karen was escorted off the plane, facing an internal investigation and possible criminal charges. But the story didn't end there. David Johnson wasn't just an air marshal. He was also an investigator for a secret federal task force targeting corruption within the airline industry. Corruption that often hid behind racist attitudes and unchecked power. For years, David had quietly gathered evidence of bribes, cover-ups, and systemic discrimination at the highest levels of the airline company operating this flight. Karen's incident was the spark he needed. Behind the scenes, David coordinated a sting operation, using the soda can incident as the opening to expose a network of corrupt supervisors and executives who tolerated and encouraged discriminatory treatment of black passengers and employees. The deeper David dug, the darker the truth became. Some managers had been falsifying safety records, allowing hazardous conditions to persist for profit. Others were involved in illegal kickbacks, including contracts for in-flight service vendors that fostered hostility toward minority passengers. As the task force prepared their case, David found himself targeted. Threatening calls came, and anonymous messages warned him to drop the investigation. One night, walking to his car from a hotel near the airport, a dark sedan pulled up, and two masked men jumped out. A violent scuffle ensued. David's training kicked in. He disarmed one assailant and fled into the night, wounded but alive. This only strengthened his resolve. The day the public scandal broke, David stood before the press, holding documents and recordings. "This is not just about one incident," he said firmly. "It's about a system that enables hatred and corruption to endanger lives. Today, we hold those responsible accountable." Executives were arrested, Karen's complicity revealed as part of a wider problem of sanctioned racism and neglect. In a powerful courtroom scene months later, Karen sat trembling as David took the stand. His calm voice recounted the soda can injury and the following investigation. "You will pay for what you did," he told her coldly. Outside the courthouse, Marcus smiled for the first time in weeks, his father kneeling beside him. "Justice isn't just about punishment," David said softly. "It's about making sure this never happens again." As the sun set, a new era began for the airline, a future where dignity and respect were no longer optional. Disclaimer: this story is a fictional dramatization created for entertainment purposes only.